on, Foxy. It's your birthday. Not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
But today, I'm all about G20. That's why I'm here. And to celebrate this film, first of all, did you like the movie? What did you think? I want to let y'all know that we are streaming around the world right now in over 8 countries. So it is a big deal. It is a big deal that you're in here also. I know you want to take pictures, but remember, you're on camera too. So put those phones down and let them see your pretty faces, okay? All right, so let's get into this Q&A and bring out the stars and the crew and the folks who helped put this movie together. And let's start with the producers. First, producer Andrew Lazar. Producer Julius Tenen. Ramon Rodriguez. Christopher Farrar. Hey, don't lose that intensity now. Lots of love for everybody. Come on now. Douglas Dodge. All right, our first row director, Patricia Riggin. Anthony Anderson. Marseille Martin. Anthony Starr. He's a bad. And the one and only, the leader of the pack, Viola Davis. That's right. We get up when that EGOT walks in the room. We're not messing around. Let's go. I want to ask this question to everybody right off the bat. This movie had a lot of incredible action sequences. Which one was the toughest to film? Viola, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's a better question for Patricia. I know the toughest scene for me was the elevator scene. But that would be a better question for Patricia, only because it was a small space and it involved the climbing up, the falling down, the shooting. Boy, I love shooting.
I heard that. I heard that you love that.
I told you last night.
You told me.
She likes her weapons. She loves shooting. She loves guns. I think the helicopter was the hardest.
Yeah.
The helicopter has a big helicopter that's supposed to fall and break in pieces and all these things that happen. So, but each scene was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I forgot about the
helicopter. Producers, how about for you? Because you have to keep the movie on time. That's the most important thing.
I mean, the conference room was really challenging. Actually, that very first conference room, because there were so many people in it, and just the choreography of who's moving, where, and when, and it was tricky. It was a tricky scene.
Yeah.
Listen, I think all of it was a big team effort. So everything we did had to be worked out and calculated and rehearsed. So all in all, I mean, we pulled it off. But it was a lot of moving parts, and we pulled it off. We felt really good about the action and how propulsive it was.
I want to ask the actors too. What was it for you, Marseille? What was the toughest one for you?
The helicopter. I mean, I feel like also too within that, it was the last scene we shot for the entire film. So it was like, obviously that's what you guys see in the film. So overall, it just was exactly that. Just like we were all anticipating it from. I know I was anticipating it from day one of like, all right, I know I gotta do this helicopter scene in like 4 weeks or whatever that looked like. So I think for me that was definitely the toughest because we literally used all the rest of the energy that we had left and pushed through within that scene.
And especially because I told Marcel, you gotta chew that zip tie. This is method acting. I'm not gonna let you out.
And I chewed it, girl. I was eating it up. I was like, okay. Yeah, it was cool.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I have a bone to pick with Patricia because
We know your toughest scene. Let's not.
yeah, I'm just saying the fight that I had with a chair that sent me to the emergency room in the middle of the night for 5 hours didn't even make the cut of the film. So I'm just curious, Patricia, as that because that was real pain and real blood and real tears. Is there any particular reason we didn't show that in the movie?
Yeah, and because there was no space to invite the chair also.
It's tough when the chair wins, isn't it?
Oh my God! Yes, it is.
Anthony, bad man. What was your same question for you? Look at everybody loves the bad guy after the movie's over, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like waiting for shit to hit me.
You're too sexy and charismatic, so we won't ever hit you.
So no, I mean the funny thing is about it, like I know the role that the character plays in the movie, obviously, but I haven't played a bad guy in my life. Oh come on! I mean, there's kids here; it can't be that bad. No, look, it's but truly like I think I don't know if there's a key to it, but my strategy towards it anyway is just to build a real person from the inside out, ground up. And then, there's a whole nother film that is like the Eddie Rutledge origins that I've made up. It's just about presenting options for Patricia and then seeing how it fits into the overall story. But I give a lot of options and. Yeah, it's really
You did humanize this character, and I have to say, a lot of people tell me at some point they're like, "Oh, shoot, I think I'm with the villain," So there is that testament to you. Normally, people hate villains, and people love you. So
I do have another script.
I was going to say I knew he had a star for
The
this.
story of Eddie Rutledge. It's quite touching.
I think the best scene for Anthony was facing off with Viola Davis.
Yeah.
I really do. They were incredible in that conference room first scene. They improvised a lot of those lines. Anthony would hit her with a line, Viola would hit him back, bigger line, and then because they're both so amazing as actors. So that was really, really splendid to watch.
I want to ask the guys in the back too. What was your toughest scene? Well, you got left out of a lot of them. Right? You were like, "Come on, let me get in there."
Yeah, my toughest scene, it wasn't like a physical at all, but it was probably the scene when I ran into the conference room and then saw my dad on the ground.
Yeah.
And that was because that was like my first scene with Viola, and so that was like a little scary, but also I had to like bring it in.
Right, you walk in and you're like, "Oh my God, it's Viola Davis."
Yes.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand.
Also, I had to be in like a certain emotional state, so I had to bring that to it. So yeah, that was a little tough for me.
Trust me, when she hits the red carpet, we're all like, "Oh my God, it's Viola Davis." It happens all the time. All the time. All right. Ramon, go ahead. I want to hear.
Well, I would probably echo Viola's. I mean, that elevator scene is, you're fighting in a phone booth, and you're fighting in a phone booth with cameras. I got to be in there with you, and so it's just tight quarters. We did a lot of training together, and that, it's just physically demanding, and also you want to be safe and careful. And I had a great double that did some of the rolling out of the beast. That's not me.
That wasn't you.
That was not me. But I gotta give props when you have a good stunt double, and he did great. But that elevator fight scene it came together really nicely. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's cool.
My stunt double didn't show up the day I had the fight with the chair. That's how I ended up in the emergency room for 5 hours in South Africa at 3 o'clock in the morning. That didn't make the
He
film.
absolutely did it all to himself.
That didn't make
He
the
stumbled
film.
into a chair and cried like he needed a ambulance.
Your goons did that to me, Anthony.
Oh, for God's sakes, Anthony, you're giving us a bad name, man.
Anthony.
On a serious note, I just want to throw in, we had such an amazing, we talk about the stunts, and it's very easy to sit here and we talk about what was hot for us, but we had a beast of a stunt team. Ground Powell and the boys down there. Really amazing job that they did because all of us should have come out battered, bruised, broken. And basically,
They were awesome because they were
Yeah.
the same stunt team we worked with when we did Woman King. So we knew these guys were excellent.
And I
Remember Songer?
They had a whole recovery system too, didn't they? Each and every day. Is that true? You got.
Yeah, they had infrared sauna. They had, all of these cryotherapy machines, and I just remember the guy who played the. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting his name, but his character's name is Sangha, the big guy who
The
comes out
bald
of the
guy who
elevator.
fights.
And when he came on the set, I was like, Patricia, you want me to fight him? And I remember in between scenes, I was like, so, hi. How are you? So, what do you like to do on your free time? And he says, well, I like yoga and I like musical theater. And
The sweetest guy.
the sweetest guy.
Was there any times where there were bumps and bruises for you, Viola? Were there bumps and bruises in any of these fights?
No.
No, you were like, I wasn't messing around.
Only when she wears the heels. That's why she took them off, right? No.
Yeah, but I didn't have any
It's a
bumps
joke.
and bruises. I'm pretty tough. I am. I'm pretty tough. But I can't remember. It's like, this came right after the Woman King, and I just remember so many bruises from that. Just from trying to keep up with Tuso, running, with my old ass, and tripping on stairs. But I didn't have much of that in this. I stayed pretty safe. Yeah.
You all shot the movie in South Africa. How was that? Is shooting the movie in South Africa, and it was a start and a stop for a second, and then you got going. I'm gonna start with the producers because that's got to be scary when you start and stop.
Yeah, we had multiple strikes, the WGA strike and the SAG strike, so it was really, really tricky. We actually shot the elevator scene, a lot of that scene, before we went, before the strike. It was challenging. I mean, it was stressful for everybody, but the truth is we had an amazing South African crew and people that wanted to go to work. And it's a great place to shoot. So, we chose it because we wanted the location to be international and exciting and something different. It's also it's a beautiful place, and there's just great crews.
By the way, Marseille told the best story about going to South Africa twice. Marseille, how was it going twice? And I'll come right back to you.
Oh, okay, yes. So the first time we went, obviously it was summer here, and that means it's winter over there. And when I tell you, they have the most, the wind storms. We was getting our hair and makeup done. It was shaking the trailer and stuff. I was like, what is going on? And this is my first time in South Africa, by the way. So I'm like, is this like this all the time? I'm like, oh my goodness. So when we went the first time, obviously, there was of course, there was rain and just. It was really dramatic outside, of course. And then we had the strike, and then we came back, and then it was winter here and summer over there. So I was like, all right, this is more like it. I'm going to be outside. There we go.
You had a chance to enjoy South Africa.
Yes, and then we had a chance to enjoy it. We went to the spot. Me and Chris went ziplining towards the end. That was lots of fun. So it was really exciting, and I truly was able to see the whole community and the culture there, and it's just so incredible, and I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Julius, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Just to piggyback on what Andrew said, it was a lot of fun because the crews are absolutely professional, and we obviously the stop and start is always difficult to stop and start, but we as a team, we surrounded each other, we knew what we had to do, and so we just kind of, put things together and then came back when we were ready to go again. But it was, those guys are amazing.
It's a Southern Hemisphere thing.
One of the
It's a Southern Hemisphere thing. So when we do the Rutledge origin stories, we'll go to New Zealand, where I live.
You already have one. I mean, you own Amazon. You got the boys. You got this. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you're
but I'm greedy, man.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
one of the, for us also, for me, one of the big challenges was how do we show South Africa and its culture, even if, it takes place in one night and, the stuff hits the fan very quickly and then it's all action. So that was, very intentional to put the little choir with the children singing, the marimbas, to be respectful and show what a beautiful country and what a beautiful culture it is.
And I want to ask about that too. All the different cultures that we get to see in this movie. That's the beauty of having it in the G20. It feels so smart because we get to see people from around the world. Douglas, I'm going to ask you because we haven't talked to you yet. How great was
UK
it
Prime Minister.
that we had so many different cultures from around the world? We had so many different cultures represented in this movie from around the world.
Yeah,
Truly
I mean,
a movie.
one of the beautiful things about the film is that it encompasses. It's a great chance to encompass all those places. I mean, South Africa itself is. You must go if you haven't been. It's physically a beautiful country. Of course, it's complex and there's huge frustrations and there's great recovery from the abuse of apartheid that happened there all that time ago, and it's still recovering from that. But it is a magnificent place to be, and the crew were incredible. So that was our sort of basis before we even began, really, wasn't it? Yeah, and I was just an Englishman abroad, really. It was lovely.
You were that guy, yeah.
I mean, I just said that our film looks like the world. And that was something we wanted to accomplish. And obviously the G20 is about the world. And I think we did a good job of depicting all those different countries and the folks that live there.
And it gives us the opportunity to do G20 Mexico next time.
By the way, Viola, how was it being the president?
For pretend, it was wonderful. You know what, though? I have to say that the challenge of it was to forget about the fact that she's a president and she's still a human being. She's still a mom. She's still someone who has to make decisions despite the fact that she's afraid. So how much do you show her fear when people are coming to the theater and they're like, well, she's a president. How did she become a president if she's, in a pile of pee and poop and quivering in the corner because she's terrified of being killed? And so there's a part of me that had to play that leader that people elected. Glass first. It's, that's what they say about a winner. A winner is someone who loses but tries one more time. So I was thinking about that with every one of my decisions, in the movie as an actress, that I didn't have the leeway to just play Danielle Sutton, who didn't feel confident as a mom, that was afraid that she was going to get shot and get her behind beat. I had to step up. So how do you play that? It's sort of an actor question. It's a balance. But overall, it was a great challenge in how to play someone who has power. Do you play it, like they say, a soldier is not someone who fights because they love what is in front of them. No, because they hate what is in front of them. They fight because they love what they left behind. And that's what I had to play, that sort of hero. And that's very, very difficult. But, yeah.
I loved your last book, but I think there should be a Viola Davis book of quotes. I just think, we're waiting on that.
But I stole all those quotes, Kevin.
Steal them, that's okay.
I stole them all, y'all.
I love it. Marseille, is it kind of interesting? You're sitting here with your movie mom and your TV dad, and you play a girl who's very far from your character because you've always been the nice girl, and in this movie, you're the problem child.
I I mean, have I always been a nice girl? I mean, they saw Blackish Bride. I mean, I feel like, you know, Serena was such a multi-layered character, which I loved. I think for her, she was very tech savvy, of course, as you guys saw, in a rebellion, but there was reasons behind every single move that she did. And showing that first daughters can look like anything, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be her fitting into this one box because society is telling her to. And what do you do when your family is one of the most powerful, you know, and your mom is the most powerful person in the world? Like, she doesn't see that, you know what I mean? She is just like regular, any other teenage girl that I know or that I grew up with, and has always done things because she is fighting for her independence and also fighting to show people that she can use her voice, and she also has her own power within that. And what I love in the film is she has that power and she's constantly trying to gain it, and at the same time she doesn't know that it's really coming from her mother. Like, she is just like her mom in a sense. And that's what I love, and that's what I adore. And I've been trying to find a project that was just like that for a long time, of just having a mother-daughter film that was so in depth and so real. And with this, it was literally just that, and us fighting for our lives. And I thought that was really cool. So I enjoyed it so much. And I mean, it was such a familiar face too, to be able to work with. I mean, somebody that was truly the first person to ever see my potential in this industry, which is Anthony. So, I mean, it's honestly the perfect project for me to be a part of and also challenge myself within.
Ramon, I want to ask you about being a Secret Service agent. Did you have to get special training, or was that just instinctual, like, I'm not leaving this woman behind, I'm not leaving the president behind?
I mean, it was definitely a lot of training, but it was great, you know, the idea, first of all, the history that he had with this character, with Danielle and Manny, and, you know, military background, and I felt like that history and finding ways as much as possible to either showcase it or just show that there's a shorthand. I think it was a very specific Secret Service agent-president relationship. Maybe not all Secret Service agents speak to their president that way, but because they had this history and what they've been through and seeing each other climb up the ranks. And it was great. I just kept looking at ways of saying, how does he continue to just try to do his job, which is to protect her and keep her alive? And he'll do anything for that. And so I found a lot of honor and heart in that, and I tried to really continue to find those moments, even when they went head to head. You know, and that last departure scene that we had together was so heavy and hard and beautiful, where it sort of really see this relationship and how it culminates to this specific moment. But yeah, we trained. We trained. We did a lot of gun training, a lot of physicals, you know, a little bit of jujitsu, a little bit of hand-to-hand combat. And then again, you know, with the incredible stunt team, like we mentioned, they got to do some really, really awesome stuff. They had one day my stunt double, so the moment in the elevator scene, before we go up, Manny pops up there, like he jumps up like Spider-Man. That again is not me. Patricia loved my double so much. He did it during rehearsal that we all came and we were ready to film. She goes, wait. And she calls my double. She goes, do it again. Show everyone what you just did. And again, yeah, he's like so limber. He just bloop, bloop. And I'm like, this guy's awesome. He's making me look great.
And you know what, guys? I discovered that he was not a stunt guy. It was his first stunt job. He was a hip hop dancer.
A b-boy.
The world champion hip hop dancer.
Yeah.
Those guys are flexible.
Yeah, exactly. Nimble.
Wow.
Patricia, was there a moment where you had to kind of bring in the doubles and say, hey, you guys back up and let the doubles do this, or let the stunt folks handle things?
Look, this movie is a lot of close contact. So even though these guys are saying that the stunts did it all, they did a lot of it because it's all face. So if you have face, you can't have a stunt double. So they really did everything. And then we had some enhancement from our doubles. So Ramon did everything except that flying up because that guy had no gravity. Viola did everything except falling down, which was the stunt double. So they really were.
Because I
didn't want people to see my Spanx.
Exactly.
And you saw my Spanx anyway.
But I VFX them. They're VFXed.
So the only time you really missed on a stunt double was for Anthony. That's it. If you had gotten that day with that chair, if you got that stunt double, everything would have been okay. It would have been a smooth shoot.
Can I at least make the director's cut with the fight that I had with the chair? That's all I ask. Can it be the director's cut?
All right, I know we are here. We're going to take some questions here from folks in the theater, correct? Okay. Oh, we're going to take them from the live stream. Okay, we're going to take them from the live stream. We have folks already sending in questions, and they slid them to me. So let's start with Earl Wooten from the United States, right here. And his question is, how do you find the heart in a great story when you do recognize it and determine it to be commercially viable?
For me, so it was immediate. When I read the script, I saw that there was a teenage daughter and a mother. And that's, if there's something universal, is that teen girls and moms have a moment in their lives that is very difficult. I'm going through one myself.
Me too. Me too.
So I thought, you know what? What makes a really great action movie is that it has heart. If it doesn't have something like that, I don't care about the movie that much. And so I saw the heart in that and made it the spinal, like the emotional spine of it. Then, of course, we have every other character and has an emotional relationship, you know, all of them, Manny and the husband. But the spine was the coming back, earning back the love, I guess, of your daughter and the respect, both ways.
Love that. Okay. Lawrence from the U.S. asks, what's one thing you learned about yourself during the filming of this film? I'm going to start with Christopher, you in the back.
One thing I learned about myself is that like how strong I am and like how talented I am, because like when I first got
Pop your collar.
Alright, bro. Christopher! Yeah! Love it!
I don't mean to like be like
No, it's okay. He said, I'm the guy. Like,
Bro, we all learned that.
no, but when I like first saw all these like huge names, it was like a little scary for me, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because it truly was scary. But when I got on set and like I met them, I met everybody, and I like started to build a relationship, it just all became so easy, and like showed me that I can do this too, because I've watched every single one of them on TV as a kid, and it's just like amazing to be able to work with them. So I definitely learned that like I'm pretty strong, and I'm pretty talented too.
Yes, you are.
Malone. Christopher Malone. Anthony, what did you learn? What's one thing you learned during this movie? That you want the sequel? You want your spin-off, correct? Yeah. You want.
He said Anthony.
Anthony.
He said Anthony. I have an H in my name.
You have a H.
Yeah, I have an H. Yeah.
Wait, I'm just sorry, I'm distracted by Anthony. What is the question? What is the question?
What is the one thing you learned about yourself in this movie?
One thing I learned about myself in this movie. I mean, every time I do something, I seem to learn something about myself. I think it's not necessarily. Seriously, there is a whole other script about Rutledge, but what I realized is you know, I had to sort of carve out a little story through the movie that with Patricia and Viola that really kind of mirrored Viola's character in a lot of ways, and in doing that, that means I have to find what's the anchor of the character. Why is he doing what he's doing? And because both characters are veterans, I think they both have significant trauma. And one of the things in Rutledge Origins, what you would see is that he came back, lost his family, and the pain. You can take that if you want. And the pain of that is what was driving him into action. You know, who doesn't want to be a hero for the kids was my little mantra. And in my head, he had sons back home, and she got everything I wanted and all that. So I don't know what that means about learning for myself, but you know, every time you discover a character, you learn you find something different when you go into the emotional depth.
Sounds like you've already cast this movie. I hear you.
I kind of have.
I figured as much. This question is for Viola. It's from the UK, Antonia, and she wants to know what drew you to the script and made you want to be a part of this film.
You know what? What drew me to it is Air Force One, Salt, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. I mean, I could keep going on and on. It's, you know what? I always use my daughter as a blueprint for this. I have a teenager too. But I tell this story ad nauseum when I would make up stories for her at night. She loved them. And whenever I started, I would start and she would, this is when she was still sucking her baba. She'd take the baba out of her mouth and go, Mama, put me in the story. Put me in, I want to be in the story. And that's how I feel. I want to be in these stories that I see. And, you know, listen, and that's it. And when I read G20, I saw a story. I remember telling the Logan brothers because they had written it. This was in 2015. And I was like, you want me in this? This is a Sigourney Weaver role. This is an Angelina Jolie role. You know, we think of all these people who can do. You've been trained to think of almost removing yourself from the equation. And this was one of those stories I said, I've always seen myself in this story too. And so that's what I did. It was a badass action movie, you know?
And I say, thank God for Andrew Lazar.
Yes, yes.
He had the vision.
And Andrew was at that meeting too.
Well, it's like you see these women that like love their country and do all this stuff for service, and I love this idea of putting this mama bear into this extraordinary circumstance with the most powerful people in the world, and it just seemed like this is a great. I love Die Hard. Like I love Die Hard. I love Salt. I love all these movies, and it's like I want to see someone of Viola's age. You know, it literally hasn't been since Liam Neeson and Taken that an actor has really fit into the shoes of doing these kind of action movies. So outside of the fact that she's a female and she's black, she's also close to my age. And it's cool to see somebody kicking ass and having this amazing career of this amazing dramas and then going to do something that clearly she's really born to do.
Mm-hmm. Does this mean we'll see you in more action movies?
You know, I always say that, and then I get to the set, and I'm like, I'm tired. I want to take a nap.
There is a sequel to this movie. We promise Viola should be in the Oval Office most of the time.
By the way, I want to ask you about the Beast real quick, Patricia. The Beast that was driven in there. Tell me the story behind that.
Okay, so the crazy thing, how do you get the beast? You can't build the beast. So it was really challenging for months trying to figure it out. And then there was this huge discovery, which is that Tyler Perry owns a beast. In fact, he owns two beasts. And he knew that it was Viola, and he lent them to us. Well, rented them to us. So we put them in a ship, and we shipped them on a ship to South Africa. And we were waiting for months, like
it was one of the most stressful
things. And they arrived all like wrapped up in saran wrap or something. Because they're very delicate, very delicate.
And it's a bad ride, y'all.
It's really
Yes.
And then you can't destroy the beast, but the script says the beast is hit by a missile. And then how do you do that, right? So they were very delicate. They're almost made of like cardboard. But they are huge and beautiful. And so, you know, we did part, you know, practical, and then we did a little bit of VFX as it actually flies. We didn't do that.
Okay, so everything's cool with Tyler, right? He's not mad at y'all. He's not like, where's my car?
We didn't wreck.
And I love that y'all were really, really proud of it too, because that was actually the first scene that I shot, was us driving into the hotel. And I probably heard like 50, 11 times, like, you know this is Tyler Perry's, right? They're like, you know this is Tyler Perry's. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, shout out to him.
All right, well, this one is, I guess, for everybody, but maybe the producers answer this one. It's Gabby in Spain, and she asked, what is more scary, a G20 meeting or a meeting with Hollywood producers? Anthony, I know you got an answer for that.
I have an answer for that.
Okay, go.
Producers.
I know what your answer is, Patricia. As our producers sit behind us.
You know, I'm a producer too.
Yeah, and sit next to us.
There is, that's right, it's Juvie at the end. The last thing you see is your logo.
Yeah.
Just a reminder to everybody.
Actually, I'll say this. My meeting with the producers were the best. Because Viola specifically asked me to be a part of this. And I remember having a meeting with Patricia. Patricia, we were having lunch, and she was like, Anthony, I've never cast a movie like this before. I was like, well, what do you mean, Patricia? She said, I've never been told by the lead actress and producer that this is who you have to hire as my husband. And I was like, wow, that meant a lot to me. So you talk about some of the hardest things that, the most difficult things that you have to do, or we had to do. Mine was to show up and show up in the right way, because Viola specifically asked for me, and then she forced me to call her EGOT the entire time that we were on set. I could never say Miss Davis Viola. She's like, no, motherfucker, EGOT. Yes, ma'am. I'm here because of you, EGOT. So I'm going to say it was easy. The most difficult thing I would have to say meeting would be with some G20 leaders who all have different things and attitudes. But my meeting with this producer next to me and the producers behind me was the best that I've had in this business to this point.
It's true. Viola chose her husband, and it was Anthony, and I'm very, very happy that she did. I remember my first Zoom with my producers when Viola suddenly pops into the Zoom, and I see her face and I hear her voice, and the voice is like the voice of God. And it's so profound. I was very stressed, but then we get to know you, and you're such a wonderful human being, and it makes it very, very easy to work with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, this one is, we're just going to go down the road. Everybody answer it, because this comes from Stefan in the UK. By the way, Anthony, did you share your barbecue sauce with everybody?
The barbecue sauce was still being produced back then, but everybody's going to get a gift back before.
Okay, all right. Barbecue restaurant coming up soon. I just got to give it a plug.
Yeah.
The restaurant's coming. All right, go ahead. Okay. All right. Let's say you could only bring one co-star with you to survive a zombie apocalypse. Who, your ride or die, and why? Wow. Patricia, I'm going to start with... No, we're going to start down here.
I talked a lot. Ask everyone. I've talked a lot.
It would be for me if you be Ramon.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, brother gonna sell out.
Oh, yeah.
I need somebody that's gonna be taking them zombies on.
Yeah.
And he'd be the man for the job.
Money.
Thank you, Julius. I'll go on then. You need someone to lighten up the spirits when the zombies are coming. I'm taking my man Douglas with me. Yeah, because this dude, hang out with him for 1 minute and he's gonna have you dying laughing. He's just a wonderful, wonderful soul. And yeah, I'm gonna take you, Douglas.
Thank you very much. I'd be the last person I would take.
He's not gonna take a bullet for you.
Not only am I acting a physical coward, I am a physical coward. Just watching Viola was terrifying, exhausting. I had to go home and hot baths, physio every night, just watching what she was doing. So I'd take you definitely.
For me, I would say Ramon also, because knowing me in a situation like that, I'll probably fall and trip, and I know he would come back and get me.
I'm taking Viola. I mean, after that elevator scene and that foot to the throat to the neck. And the fact that no matter what was going on, Viola was never leaving anybody behind. You know, that she was like, no, I may not be able to save all of them up there, but I'm gonna save these people right here. And that's who I'm rolling with, because I know she would have my back, and I would always have hers. Yeah.
That's what I love too. She was a mama to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love. That's hard. I was gonna say Anthony.
Thank God.
Because
Thank you. Smartest one in the group.
did you not see him slice some people?
She's in the next
Like,
movie.
he was like,
I was like, we're gonna get through this whole thing. No one's gonna say
no,
what?
yeah. We can listen to Kendrick Lamar. We would be balling. We'd be out.
I'm afraid Anthony would become a zombie himself.
Oh no.
So that's why I don't pick him.
Fun religious.
Yeah, all right.
Always has a pack of cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude.
I'm excited.
I would take Serena.
Amen, amen.
Okay, I love that. Well, Viola, no pressure here. Who would you take?
CIA director Nicholson.
Right.
No, he wouldn't be coming. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Anthony. I think you'd leave us in the dust too. And Doug, we wouldn't be able to find you because you just saved yourself. You know, it's a hard one between Ramon and Marseille.
Oh, you just gonna leave your real husband back?
Yeah, she did call you. She did call you in the movie and say, "Oh, kind of bye, baby." She was,
Yeah.
No. I mean, are we talking characters or actually people?
Let's go. Let's
go characters, because I really don't want my feelings hurt.
Right. Let's stay with characters.
Only because Serena would be intelligent about it. She would have a strategy. Me, I wouldn't have a strategy. I would just be fighting my ass off. I'd just be shooting, just to shoot. But I think, Serena would have a strategy, sort of like Train to Busan. That's my horror movie, y'all. You know, that's my zombie movie. She'd have a strategy. Yeah.
Okay. So your movie husband and your real husband both got left behind. I like that.
Sorry. I got your back, dude.
See, this is a litmus test. Now you got me in trouble.
Now I got you in trouble with both of them. No. I understand it. You take care of your baby. Listen, this has been so much fun. I wish we could talk forever, but these folks got stuff to do, and we've got to let you get out of here. But this has been fantastic. The movie is fantastic. And can we give a round of applause for the folks who put this great movie together? G20.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes. It is out April 10th. Hold on, everybody. Hold on for 1 second. If everybody could hold for 1 second, we're going to let these folks get out, and then you will go out too. All right? Just 2 seconds.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then Japan, of course. Versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.